Good morning and welcome to the Daily Summation offered as a video and podcast from Kurt's Religion and Politics. I am Kurt, I am your host. Today is Tuesday the 27th of October 2020 and today's subject is a blog post I did that I called High Earners. The point of this podcast, point of this blog entry, I should say, is to talk about people who are, who make a lot of money, who have a lot of money, who have a lot of resource available to them of various kinds. And I just wanted to point a few things out that I think a lot of people are missing. And the first of these, one of the things that I do is I say, look, imagine you're the owner of a company or companies that produce food items, and the food items you produce are perishable. Now you produce a bunch of food. And even if you ate all that you could, which, by the way, I imagine most people in that position, they don't necessarily eat all that they can, even of their own products, right? But ate all that you could of your product and gave a bunch of your product away to your family and friends, to people you knew and so forth, you would still have a ton of product that is basically going to sit in a warehouse, rot, or go bad one way or another. Or in the best case, just sit there and do nothing if you don't do one very important thing. And that's sell it. And the thing is, who you sell it to, right, is a matter of who's willing to buy it to begin with, right, where there's a market for it. So if you make products that people who are just your average consumer are going to buy, then you're going to sell a lot of products to those people. The thing is, most people, that's who they're going to target, is people, places where they can sell massive amounts of the products that they make, right? Well, why? The answer is simple. If you want to continue to be wealthy, you better be selling stuff so that you continue to make that money and so forth. Now, you hear arguments all the time. Oh, this person has 3 houses and 15 cars and a jet and a yacht. And all of that is probably true for a lot of these folks, right? All of that is probably true for a lot of these folks. But the thing is, there comes a point when they become sort of saturated. And I'm not saying they don't ever get anything more as a result. Rather, what I'm saying is they realize that the goods, the things they own are only going to do so much for them. And more importantly, if they want to continue to have those things and maintain that quality of life, it's necessary for them to continue to maintain an income, whatever you want to say, assets. Let's put it as assets because that's really a more correct way to put it, that make it possible for them to do so, right? They have to have enough of whatever assets, whatever property and so forth to continue to maintain the lifestyle that they've had. Well, how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to continue to sell things to people who are willing to buy them, right? And for a large part, that is the populace at large, the public at large, right? So they're going to do that. So here's the thing. Let's say for a second you decide that they're, quote, not paying their fair share, end of quote. Let's just say you decide that. So what do you decide to do? Well, you decide to take what they have and sell it and distribute the profits to the poor or to everybody, however you want to do that, to the poor, to everybody, whichever particular thing you decide you want to do. There are a couple of things that I think most people don't realize about that. The first is, if you took everything from the companies that they had and you sold it and you gave it away, the number of people you would be able to help in any substantial way would be a relatively small number of people. And here's the second thing. The amount of time that you would be able to help them would be equally short, would be very short, right? So you would be able to help a very few people in the population at large, and the amount of time that you'd be able to help them would be a very short amount of time. But here's the thing, okay? There's a third thing that I think people seem to even realize less, and it is, if you took all of that stuff, say the person is making cars, okay? Now the person can no longer make cars. Okay, you say, well, let's just take the stuff that's the cream, the stuff that's we can skim from the top without hurting the company itself, which, by the way, is not really a thing. But let's say you can do that, okay? So you do that, and now the person is asking themselves a question, him or herself a question. Why am I bothering? Because they spent all of that time and all of that effort to build up or to run whatever it happens to be, that entity that you're taking what they're getting out of it away from them for having done it and giving it to other people in order to get into the position that they got into to some degree. They wanted to not worry about money, and they wanted, by the way, many of them to help other people in the process. So that's the first point, right? The second point is this. When you talk about profit that's coming out of a given company, okay, you talk about that profit. Well, who gets that profit? Well, some of it is probably going to CEOs and owners and other people, right? Some of it, though that's even questionable because a lot of those people probably just take what amounts to a paycheck so that they are not actually taking the profit. But that aside, let's just for a second say that some of it is going to those individuals. But if they're public companies, where is that money going? Where is that profit going? Well, it's going to various people who are invested in that business. And when those people invest in that business, some of them are Wall Street fat cats, right? For want of a better way to put that. Some of them are people who are making good money out of the fact that they're investing in various things that people are getting. That's true. But most of them are actually investment entities that are doing things like making it possible for people to have individual retirement accounts or IRAs or other investment vehicles, right? Whatever particular investment vehicle it happens to be, whether it's something that they're using to actually be happier in the present moment or something that they know is going to make them happier in retirement. Okay? So a lot of that profit is actually going, windfall profits for the oil industries. Going where? Going into your retirement account in all likelihood if you have a retirement account. And I've said this before and I'm going to say it again. You don't have a retirement account today? That's okay. That's okay. Someday the chances are very good you will. And here's the thing about that. If you never do, or have that or some kind of savings or something to carry you along as you get older, the chances are exceptionally good you're going to end up trying to survive off Social Security. And if you think that sounds like a great idea, I have a challenge for you. Talk to people who are living off of Social Security alone and see how they like what they're doing. It's rumored that Harlan Sanders, Colonel Sanders, the guy who supposedly made the KFC, the Kentucky Fried Chicken chain, was one such person who was living on a retirement, right? I don't know if it was Social Security or what, and he realized that it wasn't meeting his needs, that he didn't get what he wanted out of that. And so he started to try and find a way to actually make money other than what he was getting out of that kind of activity, not activity because it's literally whatever group decides to give you whatever they decide to give you. And yeah, okay, in some instances you might have saved and you might be the one getting it. And this is my point though. My point is, if you don't have a retirement account today, first of all, I suggest you get one, right? At least one, depending on where and how you get them. And second of all, at some point in the future, if you don't end up having one, I'll be extremely surprised and I'll be kind of sorry because you'll be in a state that's even worse probably than my own. And to be honest, my state right now is not great. But so there's that. But here's the thing. I'm going to say this again. You go after the high earners, and what you do is you make it so that those people who are creating things decide it's not worth it to do that anymore. And one of the things that they're doing when they create things, whether you like it or not, is offering workers jobs. And I just want to say that when you do things like push higher wages at them and so forth, you make it so that they have to make things more expensive. And that makes it so that everybody ends up paying in the form of inflation as a result of that. But the point is, if you go after those higher earners, then what ends up happening is companies, businesses, and the like break down because those people are the people who make those entities run, who run those entities. So it's not a great idea. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up now. I hope you're having a good day. Today is, as I say, Tuesday, the 27th of October, 2020, and I'm going to almost certainly make another video on Wednesday, the 28th of October, 2020. So hopefully we will see you again then. Hope you're having a great day, and before very long, we'll be in the middle of the week, and hopefully things are going well for you in that regard to this point. All right, you have a great day, and again, hopefully we will see you tomorrow. Thanks for checking out this video. Remember that you can like it on YouTube, and you can give it a rumble on Rumble if you want to do that. I have channels on both YouTube and Rumble. They are the Kurt's Religion and Politics channels. You can subscribe to either one of those if you want to do so. Remember, if you subscribe on YouTube, you probably want to click the notification bell in order to be notified of new content. If you want to see more from me, you can check me out on my blog. That's blogs.kpschubert.com, blogs.kpschubert.com. You can also see my Facebook page. That is Kurt's Religion and Politics on Facebook. You can check out my Twitter, Parler, and Minds.com accounts. My handle on all three of those is at kpschubert. That's at kpschubert. You can check out my podcast. The podcast is at podcasts.kpschubert.com. That's podcast.kpschubert.com. And finally, you can check me out on Patreon. And if you want to support me, that's probably one of the better places that you can do that. I am Kurt's Religion and Politics there. Thanks again for checking out this video, and hopefully we will see you again tomorrow.